Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here in Bekia in the Grenadines, and we're going to do a little evening flight tonight in the 172. And I've been wanting to do a video on gratitude for a while now. And I left all this stuff on, I just realized from my last flight. And I don't know if I'll even post this. I don't know if this will become a thing. Let's go rotating beacon on. Mixture is rich. Carb heat is cold. Master and batteries coming on. It's only got a master switch. Let's go toes on the brakes. The mixture's rich. Let's bring up the throttle here. That is good. And let me see here. Should be good. Let's go mag. Usually start these old planes mags on the left. And this one as well. And that roughness that you hear from the engine, that's partially being on one mag. But alright, let's go, let's see here. A little easier to get that out of the way. Let's get the avionics on. Let's get the nav lights and land. Whoopsie. Well, I didn't mean to release the parking brake, but I actually meant to turn those on first. So, we're looking good here. One thing about this plane, they've got the head position in kind of a weird place. But that's alright. And now, let me see here. Bring that on. I don't want the autopilot on because it's just a waste of time in an airplane like this. So, for those of you who, probably a decent amount of you know, for those of you who don't know, my dog recently died. And, I have been in a state of reflection for the last, certainly for the last, I don't know, 5-6 months. And I've made a lot of changes in my life. Or maybe not a lot of changes, but I've made some big changes in my life. And let's just get in a notch of flaps and get out of here because the sun's starting to go down. Mixture is rich. Oh, this is a bad idea. Alright, power's coming in. Power is set. Engine instruments are looking good. And I say this is a bad idea because that's not a whole lot of runway right there. And we are in upscaled 4K using DSR. It's going to be a brilliant flight if I smash into a mountain here. And, well, I guess, since I don't know whether I'm going to post this or not, I quit drinking a year ago. And it was funny because for 1,000 feet, there is no fuel pump. Go 1,500 feet. I'm not going to stop in at Mystique. I'm going to keep on trucking here. And it sort of happened by accident, really. I mean, not by accident, but it like wasn't the plan. My wife and I went to a Christmas party a year ago. And, roughly a year ago. And it's a good time. It was with family, some people that we hadn't seen in quite a while. And one of the folks that was there has his own winery, and we enjoyed some of his wine. It wasn't anything outlandish, family and close friends and that sort of thing, and had a lovely dinner at one of my wife's daughter's homes, and had a wonderful time. And the day after, well, probably not the day after, but soon thereafter, pretty much everybody who had been there got sick. Cold, flu, and I was sick for a good couple weeks. I mean, not sick the entire time, but certainly not feeling all that spectacular. And no, I didn't mean to do that. And so of course, when you're not feeling well, you're not consuming alcohol. And it's not, and I don't want to give the wrong impression. It's not like I was, consuming mass amounts of alcohol on a regular basis, but certainly in the part of the world that we live in, it's kind of goes with the culture. It's like you want to go out to dinner, you have cocktails. You want to go, to see a band, you have cocktails. You want to go to a sporting event, you have cocktails, etc., etc., etc. And so it's just kind of a thing that's kind of always just bring that power back just a little bit. Always kind of in the picture. And so after a couple weeks, we started feeling better, and I mentioned to my wife, I said, I feel really good. It's been a couple weeks, I haven't had anything to drink. How do you feel? And she said, I feel great. And by this time, we were kind of midway through dry January, which has never been a thing for me. I don't even understand the concept of it, but, so we just kind of stuck to it. And after January, felt good, and it just became a thing where we realized, I think on a few levels, like, that we're feeling better. We're feeling better mentally, not tired. Good energy each day, kind of up and at 'em, and just kind of came to realize that I wasn't missing anything from it, I guess. And we've always, my wife is let's just say she outclasses me by a significant margin, and she's somebody who's always enjoyed in particular fine wines, and so that's something we've always kind of enjoyed, and but she was on board. She said, I feel really good too. We kind of mirrored in our thoughts what, how we felt about it, and so we just kind of let it be. And it's been an interesting process, and one of the things that I'm really grateful for over the last year is that when Bennie was sick, I was present. You know, I never walked him hungover. I was never in a hurry to get anywhere. You know, I spent and we knew he, you know, I mean, he was sick. He had cancer, and I spent the last year of Benny's life spending quality, good, valuable time with him, and I feel so good about that. But it's interesting because one of the things that happens, and I've heard this. Actually, I heard this from a doctor that I know. Said that the brain starts to change physically after about 6 months with no alcohol, and I can very much attest to that. I just felt like I just felt more awake. I felt like more stimulated, more creative, more aware of what was going on around me, more interested in things, interested in little things. And it's that feeling has grown over the last several months to the point where I feel like I've grown more emotionally and spiritually and mentally in the last 4 to 6 months than I did in the last 25 or 30 years. And so I've had this thought about gratitude going on in my mind, and once it's weird. Like I would have every couple weeks, I would have like this revelation of something, and one of those was just to be grateful for everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And what's funny is when you start thinking this way, it's very hard to once that switch flips, it's very hard to unring the bell. And I realize I just totally mixed metaphors right there. And the world kind of has this way of like picking you as like a reminder. And what I mean by that, like there would be days where, I mean, there were some tough days, you know, with a couple things that have been going on, but in particular, like, you know, the health of my dog. I'm in a very difficult situation right now with a very close family member who's really stuck it to me in the last year pretty hard on something nice that I tried to do, and no good deed goes unpunished. And I may talk about that more later or at another time, but I just, and so sometimes I would like be feeling sorry for myself about that, like that I have to deal with that situation, and then I have to deal with my dog not feeling well or not being well. And then I would be walking down the street, and I, like in the morning, I'd take my dog to this park that's by our house. We live in a city of about 4,000 people in central New York, so not a lot of people, and not a lot of like big city problems, right? But we were walking the park one day, and there was a young woman packing up her stuff, putting it into her shopping cart to push away from the park after she had slept there the night before. And that's very humbling when you're sitting there thinking about what your problems are. Very, very humbling to think about the fact that I have a warm house to go to. Even just a warm house, never mind a nice one. You know, and I was talking to a friend of mine And I've been very conscious of the fact that, yes, my dog has cancer, and yes, that's unfortunate, but it could be my spouse. I mean, I know a guy in my flying club who, during COVID, had to take a video call from somebody who told him on a little screen in his home that his wife had a terminal illness and was going to die. You know, so, but I don't think those things registered as deeply or as thoroughly as they should have at the time. But over the summer, as I was kind of getting further and further into this feeling of gratitude, and this I think attitude of gratitude is the best way to put it. Let's go Carpy on here. A friend of mine told me about a colleague of hers who was in her 20s and had metastatic cancer and didn't have any family. Her boyfriend, this woman's boyfriend, left her because he just didn't feel like dealing with a girlfriend with cancer in their 20s, and I mean, I guess that's whatever. You know, but again, it was like this kick to remind myself, you know, your situation isn't bad. And I've always said that all things are relative, you know, and that's one of my sayings is that all things are relative, you know. You may think something is absolutely horrendous, whereas somebody else would love to have your problems. And so that was another incident that really kind of hit me very, very hard. And so I got into the habit each morning, as I was walking Bennie, I would talk to myself about the things I was thankful for. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Not like, you know, I'm thankful that I have a good job and that I have a house and that I have that I'm healthy. I would say I'm thankful for my shoes, because there are people who don't have shoes, who notch the flaps. I'm thankful for, anything. A leash to walk my dog. I'm grateful for, my t-shirt. I'm grateful for just everything. And one of the things that I hate doing is washing dishes. And I taught myself to be appreciative of the opportunity to do that, because not everybody has a home, not everybody has food and a dry, comfortable place to sleep. And once you really start thinking about it, there's nothing you can't be appreciative of. There's nothing you can't be grateful for. And again, it's not something you can teach anybody. It has to come. Has to come to you. 75 is good. It's one of my favorite approaches in the Caribbean. I don't mind actually getting a little slow here, because I'm going to dump the nose right when I get over this little ridge here. This is a situation where it's okay to get a little bit slow, because as soon as you let go of the nose, you're going to drop and you're going to pick up airspeed. So there's already at 75 knots. This is Union Island. It powers all the way out now. Slipping. Remember, never slip with full flaps. Remember that. That is one of the rules of slipping an airplane. Oh, that wasn't good. Nope, that wasn't good. And so I kind of got lean the mixture here a little bit and flipped my airplane on its tail, I guess. So I got into that. I just had this kind of revelation about being grateful for things that I have, and not even just tangible things, but like, you know, it could have been my wife who had cancer, and how I mean, I can't even begin to imagine it, literally. And so I feel really good about the fact that I spent the last months with Bennie just treasuring every minute. And like, you know, you're supposed to do this anyway, but there are certain things that you can't learn by having somebody tell you. It has to come to you in its own way. And I've kind of some other things I'll talk about here. We'll go flaps up. And go. Oh, you know what I need to do? Hold on. I need to check my trim exactly. Alright, now panel light. That's the other thing I want to see if I can do here. Oh, I need to. Okay, so that's like a backlight. Alright, we'll leave it there. Alright, so let's get out of here. Mixture is rich. We've got a notch of flaps in. Trim is good. Get our crosswind correction in here. You gotta walk that correction out as you pick up airspeed, because as you pick up speed, your flight controls are more effective, and so you've gotta then let that control out. And it's sort of gone through a lot of things, like, and I've thought a lot about this channel and what I want. And the truth of the matter is, do I value what I've been doing, yes, I do. And I guess the way I kind of, I think, learned to value it, and what I'm talking about is like, you know, kind of performance tips and that sort of thing. Do I value doing that? I do. I do value doing that. And the reason, or the way it manifests itself to me is, whoops, I keep doing that. Is not just through like the thanks that I get from people, which I do, and it makes you feel good. You know, if you can help somebody solve a problem, it makes you feel good. You can help somebody enjoy the sin more. It feels nice. But I have to be honest, like, I want more than just that. And I don't want to, I'm not going to get away from doing that. But there is so much more to life and to what I think I have to share that I don't want. I think if I spent the rest of my quote-unquote YouTube career helping people get better performance out of their computers, and I didn't do anything to help them get better performance as human beings, I don't think that's worth it to me. You know, we live in this chaotic world, and it seems like it's getting more and more and more chaotic, and more self-absorbed, and I have the carb heat on because I'm an idiot. Why do you not have this? I'm not used to flying Continental engines. I'm sitting here wondering why the engine sounds so rough, and why I'm not getting the normal power output that I expect. And the reason is because I have the carb heat on. This is Lauriston that we're coming into. This is another one of my favorite airports. And I'm going to turn the carb heat back on to reduce my power a little bit. You know, and one of the things that I'm really grateful for in terms of this channel is the not the number of people that I've met, but the breadth and the depth and the wonderful. I've met some incredible human beings through this channel, just with interesting life experiences. There are people that I haven't seen on here in a while that I miss, you know, that I haven't seen, and I'm wondering where they are and what they're doing. And one of your names is Hunter, is Wilbur Hunter. Wilbur, where have you been, dude? I want to know where you are. But like, even this region that, you know, so much of my channel is based on has this amazing, rich history that is also in many ways a very sad history, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the people of Jamaica right now, and Haiti and Cuba. Just got devastated by this by Hurricane Melissa. And anyway, I just think there's so much more that we can learn from each other, right? I mean, I did a video once on whether flight sim can save the world, and we, you know, I talked a little bit about Russia and about what's going on there that I'm not particularly happy about. But like, I also have the luxury of like being upset about what I want to be upset about, you know? Second notch of flaps. Gonna angle it in here a little bit. Alright. Carpet is on. Come back on the power here, bring the airspeed back. And I think the sim is a wonderful thing in many ways as well, because it does give us, I think one of the ways that people can bridge differences in the world, which we have to do in so many ways, is through common interests. You know, there's 75, that speed's coming back. I'm gonna roll in some more trim. Happy with this, not happy with not being on center line. Power's out. Again, not the greatest landing in the world. So I don't really know. You know, I've thought this video through in my head so many times, and I don't really know if I did it the way I wanted to do it tonight. But I guess like at some point you just gotta get off the bench, you know. And the last 10 days since Bennie died have been very, very difficult for me. And not only that, but like for my wife, who adored this dog, and he adored her, and we just, you know, it was like I still have moments during the day, because I work from home, so I was always with the dog, and I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I gotta go take Bennie out, and no, I don't. Or like, oh, I can't leave that there because he'll eat it, and no, he won't. You know, just little things. And it's weird because one of the things that we're told is that we should set goals, you know, and mixture to idle, cutoff, throttle is idle. We will set the parking brake. Carb heat is off. We'll go let's see, we'll turn the lights off here. But for me, like, my goals are intangible. It's a cool little airport, isn't it? Like, my goals are intangible. I mean, I'm not averse to having more money than I have, but it's not going to make me any happier or any less happy, you know? I want more meaning, you know? I want more value. I want to use the time that I have meaningfully and to create value. And I definitely know that my journey has changed over the last 6 months, and where I'm going and where I want to go, even if I haven't defined it, has changed. And going on 50, maybe, you know, and I'm not buying a nice car. I already have a nice car, which is also pointless. I have a 10-year-old nice car, by the way, so it's not like one of those, like, you know, deriving value from the value of the things that I own. You know, but I'm going on 50. I, you know, been married a little bit over a year. Just the first time I've been married, so it's a whole new experience for me, and I think has a deeper meaning at this point in my life than it might have if I had gotten married at 22. And so anyway, I just kind of wanted to share some of these things with you guys. Who knows where it'll go? Who knows if it won't go anywhere? And the rest of the videos you'll see from me are going to be on auto FPS and, you know, getting rid of your stutters. It might just come back to that. But in my heart, I really want to go in a deeper, more meaningful direction. And I appreciate anybody who's still listening. And I want to thank everybody who watches my channel and who reaches out and comments, because it means a lot to me and I appreciate it. So I hope everybody's doing well, and we will talk soon.